Okay, so next thing is pointers. So that's the first thing of this term. So I'm just going to start by saying the different types of variables we have. So as I mentioned before, there's always like a little block in memory that is not a block, a little block in memory that we give a name and then we store a value there. So his name is X, and we're going to let 10 live there. 10's name is X, and he's at a certain memory. So he's, I don't know, 2 Birch Street, somewhere, like a house. But yeah, so we have dealt with different types of variables before, but we haven't really classified them. So the first type is a scalar variable. That's not scalar. And that's just like a single value. And that was the little X in his house, basically. So that's the first one. The second one is an array variable. And we just said that's, what can it be? That's like a hotel with a bunch of little X's and Y's and Z's living in there. And then we have a pointer, which is what we're going to do in this video, pointer variable. And that is basically, it is a little house, but this is a special house. I'm just going to put chimney because it's a special house. The thing that lives in here is the address of another house. Sorry for this preschool type visualization, but that's just how I explain it to myself. It's just basically, it's like this variable, but the thing that it stores is the address of that variable. And in the computer, it's something like, I don't know, weird name, letter, number arrangement of sorts. So that's basically what a pointer is, and we just use it to, I think it's call by reference, because what we usually do is we call by value, and we that's just basically altering things that are actually in that cell block. But now we're gonna indirectly handle these values and things like that, if that makes sense. But I'm just gonna start by saying how to declare a pointer. So as with all variable types, you start with all the type of variable. So this is gonna point to an integer thing, yeah, and then you put in the asterisk sign, and then you give your pointer a name. So I'm gonna say its name is pointer. Well, I think they sometimes use, I don't know if they put the in there or not, and then always end with a semicolon. And that's basically it. So you just declare there's a little house here, a special house, that's gonna store the address of another variable. Yeah, so you can make this point to nothing by saying it gets null, or you can say 0, but they prefer that we say null. Yeah, so that's how you assign a value. So we just assigned the memory address of nothing, so nothing lives there. So there are different ways that we can assign a value to this pointer. So yeah, I just want to say, if you're initializing it, you can write in the same line what you want to store there. But if you don't want to do it in this step, you just want to say, okay, there is a pointer. You can then just say, okay, pointer without this, mind you, there's no this there, there's nothing there. This pointer gets null. I think we can do that. I hope so. So another, I'm just going to say the next type of thing that you can do with a pointer. So you want to give a certain address as its value. So this pointer's value is an address of another variable. So you can manually assign this by just saying, okay, pointer, I'm just going to take that away. Pointer gets a random value. So that as literally pointing to somewhere in memory. And yeah, but I don't think we really do this, but that's just an option if you want to. Then you can point this pointer to another variable. That is what we mostly do. So here we just initialize the pointer. I'm going to initialize an integer x that gets 7. So you can now say, okay, I want this pointer to point to X. So I want this pointer to store the value of this X address. And you do this by saying pointer. Note there's no asterisk here because you're assigning this variable with an address. It gets the address, the at just means the address of something, the address of X, semicolon. Yeah. If you want to do an indirect reference to something, so say now you want to say, okay, I want to divide X. Okay, this is just a weird number to divide by 2. Let's make this 8. If I want to divide X by 8, you can just say, okay, if you want to divide X, if you want to divide whatever is in X by 2 and store it in X again, you can just say X gets X divided by 2, and then obviously the value of X will become 4. But you can also do this by the same thing, by using with this sign, pointer, and then do whatever you want with this, pointer divided by 2. So yeah, this is the same thing as X gets X divided by 2. Because we're saying this just that means it's pointing to that variable, and it's exactly the same thing that's happening there. So this is just the intro to pointers. I'm gonna upload a next video to expand a bit more on this.